So welcome back to another episode of our series Green Guardians. I'm Shrankla, Assistant Editor, India Business and Trade, the thought leadership platform for Trade Promotion Council of India. So the series aims to shed light on the incredible achievements, challenges, and future prospects of the clean energy landscape in our country. Today's episode aims to cover the electrification of the mining and construction equipments for net zero transition. So we are joined by Mr. Yuvraj Sarda, who is a seasoned professional in sustainable mobility with over a decade of expertise in electric vehicles. Currently leading the business development for zero emission construction equipments at Volvo. He began his journey with Mahindra Reva electric vehicles, and he has actively contributed to shaping EV policies by supporting policymakers in the development of initiatives such as NEMP 2020, FAME, and the state EV policies for regions including Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Kerala, and Delhi. Recognized as one of e-mobility Plus's 40 under 40, he is dedicated to promoting eco-friendly transportation solutions. So thank you so much, Yuvraj, for joining us here today.
Thank you, Shankala, for the introduction. Very kind of you.
So to begin with, let's start with an overview of Volvo's effort to electrify its construction and mining equipments, and how does sustainability fit into the vision?
Sure. Volvo Construction Equipment, which is an integral part of Volvo Group, is driven by our group values. At our Volvo Group, we have an ambition to go net zero emission across the value chain by 2040. So sustainability is something which is not just part of it, but sustainability is the way we want to do our business. And as part of the same ambition, Volvo Construction Equipment has also been working to come up with products and look at the entire value chain from both net zero point of view as well as circularity point of view to achieve our group ambition of net zero by 2040. Okay. We've also for ourselves taken an interim target so that we are on track to achieve our ambition, where by 2030, Volvo Construction Equipment globally expects to have 35% of its sales coming from electric construction machines or zero emission construction machines. At the same time, when we talk about sustainability, it's not just about producing zero emission products or transportation solutions. We are looking at sustainability in a very holistic manner, whether it comes to how we treat our employees, how we are looking at the diversity within our ecosystem, how we are looking at the whole value chain, which means starting from our suppliers all the way to our customers and enabling them to have a circular economy within their businesses. We are enabling our customers to give back their batteries after the usage to us. We've set up a new company within the group called Volvo Energy, which is responsible for the battery ecosystem. And for our own consumption and our own requirement, we've also invested in setting up a battery manufacturing plant in Changwon in Korea. So as I mentioned today, with all those efforts, where we stand as Volvo Group, one of our major group companies, which is Volvo Truck, today is a world leader in electric truck fleet globally. We've sold over 5,000 electric trucks globally already. When it comes to construction equipment, today we have the widest portfolio for electric or zero emission construction equipment globally. And even in India, today we have a product portfolio which includes 3 electric excavators and 2 electric wheel loaders. All of these are zero emission machines. So none of the players in the country today have invested or have put in such a wide portfolio that what we've put in so far. And we would want to continue to lead this area and enable our ecosystem to move towards a more sustainable and emission-free ecosystem. So that these are some of the efforts in a short, in a short summary, and we can talk more as you get into this.
So I think this is the right moment for me to ask you that what are some specific challenges that Volvo is facing right now, like in electrifying their fleets or heavy duty machineries, and how do you get them at par with your diesel vehicles? Like how do you manage that thing?
Sure. So when it comes to heavy duty machines or heavy duty vehicles, most of them, or in fact, all of them are used for commercial applications, which makes them also very sensitive to cost escalations. Unlike a car segment where you can even sell a Tesla at one end and you can sell a Nexon on the other, in the areas where we are operating, the customer is very cost sensitive because the products are used for commercial application. So cost sensitivity factor definitely becomes much higher for the segments we are targeting. And we believe we are working on several technological innovations to achieve the cost targets that will make customer uh, that will make the customer uh, consider electric or construction machines. Uh, Now, second challenge that we are facing, the heavy duty or mining kind of a environment and equipment, they are abused in the sense the environment is abusive, the way the machines are operated, the conditions in which they are operated, they are pretty tough. So you really need much higher levels of safety, much higher levels of um, you know robustness to ensure the solution still works. And for that, it involves obviously to engineer such a product, it involves costs. And um, the expectation from customer is still that electric product in no means should be having lower performance or lower robustness than a diesel product. So the engineering wise, it is a bit challenging to design products to really meet the expectations of the customers. Technically, it is possible when it comes to engineering. The question is about how do we package the same robustness, same reliability, same safety mechanisms within the same cost, and that's where innovation plays a role. Another challenge that we see is different sites have very different requirements. Unlike transportation, where a bus is used for one application, it is to you run on roads. But whereas when it comes to an excavator, excavators are used for digging, excavators are used for transporting material sometimes, excavators are used for mining. So there are different ways products in construction equipment sector are used, and different applications have their own challenges. There are places like mines where you may not get access to electricity infrastructure for setting up charging infrastructure. There are places where an excavator, when it goes into a mine, it comes out only once its life is done. So it because it keeps on digging deeper, 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 and you don't get that opportunity to come back and charge. So there are different challenges which are also at site, which we need to deal with when we want to ensure that customer considers adoption of an electric machine for their operation. Because for every customer, there is on the operation side, there is no negotiation on, or there is no compromise about how the machine is supposed to perform and produce.
Right. So, how do you see the market demand for electric construction and mining equipment evolving in both developed and emerging economies? And what economic factors are driving this shift?
Uh, this is an interesting question. Maybe let me break it to
Okay.
parts. Let's
Sure.
look at let's look at developed economies first.
Mhm.
In developed economies, there is a very high maturity in terms of organizations and individuals for consideration of zero emission product. And there is willingness and also appetite to pay a bit extra for for enabling a zero emission construction within their premise. A lot of governments globally are also supporting, like for example, Norway or Netherlands have come up with their own incentive programs for supporting, electrification construction equipment. So when it comes to the developed economies, already there is a lot of uh, already a lot of momentum that has come up because of multiple factors like availability of a product, the right electric product, availability and support from the government, and also a mature mindset to consider
Right.
and pay for an electric product. When it comes to emerging economies, there are two things. One, the emerging economies themselves are growing. Like India, we are increasing how we mine, how much we mine. We are increasing our construction and infrastructure spends. So there is already a requirement to do more and more. And on top of it, there is more competition and there's pressure on cost. So in emerging economies, where there is economies of scale, where there is a high utilization, there the demand for electric machines is very high. We are seeing customers who are coming from corporate side with sustainability ambitions shown very high amount of interest. But at the same time, there is willingness to do pilots for considering them for a longer duration. They are looking at overall total cost of operations, comparing them with the existing costs that they are paying for diesel counterparts. And then they are looking the differential. If the differential is 5-10%, there is very high likeliness of consideration. But if for some reason, because of the way utilization is, if the difference is 30-40%, that's where the questions are being asked about how do we make it happen. So in emerging economies, I would say from corporate side, where we see demand continue to grow.
Mhm.
On the retail side, we believe they will start to follow suit with what corporates are doing, and especially for high-end application, high utilization applications, we see customers considering electric machines against diesel. Or another use case or another area where we see demand for electric machines is also where there is a lot of fuel theft, and because of it, it is increasing the project cost. So we
Right.
see that as another area where market will demand for electric because they understand everything is transparent and digital, and hence the fuel theft is not a problem. So we are very confident and hopeful that the market is only going to go north, and the potential for electric will only increase.
Okay.
It's just that right now it is steadily growing, and it will very soon look at a J curve kind of a growth.
Okay, so apart from the open-mindedness of the customers that are willing to adopt the electric equipments, are there any policies present in the space to help the development, are they sufficient? Anything on the policy side that you'd like to talk about?
Sure. See, in the Indian ecosystem, so far, we haven't seen policies specifically for zero emission construction machines.
Mhm.
Uh, like we have a very clear scheme called FAME scheme for electric vehicles, which very categorically incentivizes two-wheelers, three-wheelers, and buses. There is a special bus scheme for for transforming the urban transformation or urban transportation, where 10,000 electric buses are being procured. So in India, we are still lacking such level of policy support. And we believe as an industry that this industry, construction equipment industry, is significant enough for government's attention to consideration of its electrification transformation. If you would like to know this, we are the third largest market in the world and soon to become the second largest market in the world when it comes to construction equipment. So in the global construction equipment space, we are huge. Now that market also, while volume wise, it may sound that it is only 120,000 per annum kind of a volume market, but each of these machines are fuel guzzlers.
Okay.
Each of these machines consume between 5 to 50 liters of diesel every hour, and they are used between 16 to 24 hours every day. So we are talking about huge consumption of diesel. And if we electrify or if we shift these machines to a more sustainable form of propulsion, we can see huge amount of savings in terms of oil imports because of the consumption becoming lower, and also huge impact on the environment side or on the climate change side because of the emission reduction by these machines. All of these machines run on diesel. Some of these machines don't even have any emission norm to follow. So the engines are old, outdated, and highly inefficient, at the same time highly polluting. So there is a beautiful opportunity for the government to transform this industry as we are growing. We are still the third largest. Before we become the second largest, how do we become, an industry which is transforming as well as growing? And at the same time, India as a country also is growing in terms of its infrastructure development. So we see that by 2047, if we want to become a developed economy, we need to do a lot of investments in building ports, roads, highways, flyovers, maybe many cities and factories. So that would mean a lot of usage of construction machines. So we are one of the selected markets in the world which is growing and growing very rapidly compared to all major markets which are maturing because of the way infrastructure is demand is going there. So we believe government can look at basic things like GST parity. How can electric construction machines have 5% GST against any 18% GST? Because electric cars, electric buses all come under 5% GST. How can there be a incentive mechanism which supports the first set of machines, maybe first 100 machines in the country? How can there be a pilot where government sponsors, say, India's first zero emission construction site or zero emission mining site, and multiple players can pitch in and offer their solutions, and it is kind of co-sponsored by the government and the customer probably. And there can be policy initiatives about mandating. You have Ministry of Road Transport, you have Ministry of Mining. They could mandate the usage of green machines or emission-free machines in their projects. When they offer tender, they could say maybe 5% or maybe say 2% of all the machines that will be used in this project has to be zero emission. So there are different levers that government can, play around with to influence this industry to accelerate its shift towards zero emission machinery.
Okay, so interesting. Talking of all these ideas and pilots and the initiatives that the government can take to accelerate, do you have any innovations or practices in mind that you find can significantly impact the construction and the mining soon? Something that the other countries are doing and you'd like to see it coming here, or something that we can do better?
Sure. See, construction and mining industry
Yeah,
is quite prone to accident by design
right.
because of the way there are a lot of variables, there are a lot of unknowns, and nature has its own, might that humans have to deal with. So, how can we leverage technology to make things autonomous, to improve safety of human beings and also improve productivity? Today, there are places, maybe there are some places where companies are operating only two shifts because of the labor cost, because of, you know, the vulnerability that human in the third shift may not be able to give the right kind of return that they are expecting. But here, autonomous construction machines, whether it is autonomous dump truck,
Right.
whether it is an autonomous wheel loader, or whether it could be an autonomous crane, different kind of construction machines can, once they go autonomous, and all these technologies today are demonstrated. Volvo Group uh, has demonstrated autonomous uh, hauler, which is we call it Tara solution, and so the technology is there. We've deployed this technology in field. Um, these are the technologies that can drive innovation in this space, and this innovation is completely purpose built. This innovation is about ensuring safety, increasing productivity, reducing cost. If you reduce human cost from mining operation, it is a huge cost that can, you can have machines running 24/7 in mines. We are today already seeing videos coming on WhatsApp and YouTube about how China has been deploying autonomous dump trucks and making mines completely human, human free,
Mm-hmm.
to increase productivity and to reduce cost. So I believe that while it may seem difficult, it may seem distant, but if people or if engineers look at use case by use case, there can be use case like a waste management plant where an excavator is used to only sort the waste. This can be completely an autonomous process, and the need for an operator can be potentially removed. So if use case is being considered, there is a lot of scope to make autonomous and electric and make the whole solution more effective as well as efficient.
Okay, so I also wanted to ask that in the electric counterparts of the mining equipment, is precision also a problem? Like, I think mining has to be a very precise and something. So, are the electric vehicles getting there? Are they good with precision? Is that the
See,
hesitation?
precision is not a problem.
Okay,
What we are changing is only propulsion.
okay.
What was powering the machine
Mm-hmm.
was through diesel, and now the same machine is being powered with a battery.
Mm-hmm.
But everything else is same. So when it comes to precision,
Okay,
it depends on how the machine is designed.
okay.
And you will be amazed to see that we have a lot of videos which we have made where we've used excavator to fill champagne, open champagne bottles, and show some Christmas fun. And that is the level of precision our machines can do. And whether they are electric or whether they are diesel, precision is something that we've built
Okay.
uh, in the way machine can control or can operate. So I would say electric propulsion has no bearing on precision of the machine. It
Okay.
is on the other controls of how machines are done. Electric will only make it more efficient and responsive. In fact, one thing I want to bring up that when you look at a diesel wheel loader or a diesel truck
Mm-hmm.
versus an electric truck, or an electric wheel loader, the response to the accelerator is very different. So electrics are very responsive, and that helps in productivity, that helps in improving how machines can be operated with far more with a which where machines can be operated faster, faster than other machines. So you you might see that, okay, maybe not, it is not very visible, but you will see probably after end of month, if two comparable products with same tonnage capacity, but one being diesel and another being electric, you might see that probably end of the month this had maybe 5% more production.
Okay.
Because of the responsiveness, the operator was able
The
to
ease
do
to
this.
handle it. Okay. Okay, I think that'll be all for me. And thank you so much for this session. It was a pleasure hosting you. And I'm sure we can learn a lot from this and maybe pick out pointers and implement them for a smoother transition for a better tomorrow. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, and I look forward to engage again in future.
Thank you.